Order. The regular Power Board meeting will come to order dated September 25th, 2023. Roll call, please.
Mr. Forrest?
Present.
Mr. Graffia?
Present.
Mr. Joseph?
Present.
Mr. Bruno? Mr. Ridgel?
Here.
Mr. Mayu?
Here.
Mr. Wells?
Present.
Mr. Vial?
Here.
Ms. Hyde?
Here.
Ms. Coates?
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum. Adoption of the minutes dated September 11th, 2023.
So move.
Second. Mr. Vial made the motion. Mr. Wells seconded that motion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Graffia?
Here.
Mr. Bruno? Yes. Mr. Ridgel?
Yeah.
Mr. Mayu?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes. Motion passed and so
Do you have a paper copy?
you can look at me.
That's all right, I got it.
You can't pull it up?
I think I set it out Tuesday afternoon.
I don't have one.
Was it Wednesday?
Yeah.
It was Wednesday then.
It doesn't say agenda, it just says.
Got it? Okay, eight ward fire matters. Approval to purchase medical equipment with ARPA money. I think Ms. Coates.
Yes, so I had actually approached the Ponchatoula Fire Department, and the chief actually suggested maybe to send it to one of the rural fire departments. So I talked to Chief Byers, and they wanted a CPR machine, so I'll make that motion.
Okay. Stryker.
It's for a Lucas device, which is the automatic CPR device.
Okay, how much is that?
$30,271.59.
Okay, you made that motion? You ready?
This is coming from a grant? The whole thing?
That's,
Yes.
yeah.
That's good.
Did I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mrs. Hyde, roll call, please.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Ridgel?
Yes.
Mr. Mayu?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Mr. Graffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes. Okay, that takes care of 8 ward fire matters. Let's move on to Kentwood fire matters. Approval to change the pay structure for Kentwood Fire Department to include $10,400 to be paid to the deputy chief per year, in addition to his straight time and overtime as a firefighter.
This is the documentation that I received.
Okay,
I don't think you can do that.
let me hear Mr. Forrest first, if you don't mind. I think Trent has done some research for us.
We were on the phone with Mr. Dennis James, and I briefly spoke with Laura before the meeting. And there was no reason, they thought that we could not do this. Is there a valid reason we can't?
Well, we had that same issue in Laranja a few years ago, where the chief,
Call him.
Mike.
where the chief was getting, assistant was getting hourly, and then they were getting a salary, and when we got wrote up by the legislative auditor, you can't have two different salaries. If they want to give this guy a raise by $10,000 to include it in his salary, they can do that, but you cannot pay him two different. Man, Laura, y'all, that.
I was under the impression that this was ratifying a raise. You weren't
No.
having a salary and an hourly.
No.
That whatever his salary was, they had increased it.
No, they-
No.
That they weren't doing two separate
No, you
I would-
can't.
forms of compensation.
Yeah, let me, I did not tell her that part.
Yeah,
That was omitted from her knowledge, so
Yes.
I apologize.
Yes, yes.
No, you could,
So the
if they
problem-
wanna, if they wanna give him a $10,000 raise, they can incorporate it into his pay. But you can't issue him two different checks.
That's correct.
So what they have to do, they have to come before the board, ask to increase his salary by however much an hour it is, and put it in there, but we didn't have that issues came up before.
Right, I
Did they
didn't
get a
know, I wasn't aware.
She wasn't aware
Like
of
I
that
said,
either.
they just mentioned that they did something in
By the
June.
way, the chief has been paid that.
'Cause I mean,
for about 5
In Laranja, they had to wind up paying all that money back.
Yeah, I mean, quite frankly, Ms. Gray was not given that information.
Okay.
Okay, we had a brief conversation, we were just talking about whether or not the back pay issue was okay or not, but she did not have the information about hourly pay and another check, okay, so let's get that on the record, that she definitely did not know that, okay?
So the suggestion would be, he can't get paid straight time, overtime, and then a monthly increase,
No.
but a chief can?
Because that's what the chief gets paid now.
The chief can't do it either, because the chief it got took away from the chief too in Laranja, and both of them had to pay it back.
Okay.
Oh, I don't want to put anybody in that position.
So,
We need to do a little digging in.
I'd like to make a motion that we table this
Yes.
until the next fire board meeting.
I'll second that one. Let's do some digging and sort through
I
all
mean,
this.
Trent, if they want to do it, they can increase his hourly rate to come up to the 10,000, but it would be one check. It can't be two different payments. And they'd have to get approval of the board to increase his pay by that. But in Laranja that time, it was the chief and assistant, right? And they were getting their salary plus getting paid to work a shift. And you can't, it's two different deals. You can't do that. So I think we better make sure we're on solid ground before we move on with that.
Okay, your motion is to table, and it's seconded by
I'll
David.
second it.
But, look, one quick question, though. Did y'all get the letter in your packet from the mayor?
It was in the packet.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
The letter from the mayor and Kim.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Okay, I just want to make sure we're on the same sheet. Okay. Roll call.
Mr. Ridgell?
Yes.
Mr. Mayhew?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde? Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Mr. Ingraffia? Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes. Trying to ask you to get with Laura and Dennis James and do some research, okay? All right. Okay. Pacify matters. Approval to purchase equipment. Okay, with ARPA money, again, Ms. Coates.
Yes, so this is to, equip the truck with all new, like the equipment, the new truck that they had. They've been using old equipment and pieces and parts.
Okay.
So using all of it for the funds. So I'll
Yep.
make that motion.
I'm good with it. Can I get a second?
Second.
Who was that? Mr. Ingraffia. Roll call, please.
Mr. Mayhew?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Mr. Ingraffia?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Ridgell? Mr. Joseph?
Yes. Item 4, declare a camper tag number 3529 as surplus property.
So moved.
Second here.
Mr. Ingraffia made the motion.
Second here.
Mr. Villa made the seconded motion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Mr. Ingraffia?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Ridgell? Mr. Mayhew?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes. Okay, that takes care of Husser. Laranja Fire Matters. Approval to have repairs done on the truck that is out of service. Mr. Bruno, you called me about that. You want to expound on that?
Yeah, we had the first responder truck, the truck that goes out first at Laranja, the engine blew. And Laranja did not have, it's $10,000 to replace the engine. So I got with Lewis, because this is their first responder truck. I asked Lewis if we could declare an emergency and allow for $10,000 to come out of the administrative fund to pay for the engine, with 2 payments coming back from Laranja to the administrative fund over the next 2 quarters. So the truck, is it back? They haven't got it back yet? This was what, a week or so ago? Waiting for the engine to come in, and then he's gonna put it in.
22.
I'm sorry, 22,000.
Okay. You
So
scared me then.
it'll be 10,000, a little over 10,000 out of 2 payments.
Okay.
And he's got a couple of little things that if they go right and we don't, we may even get to pay some of it back quicker. But it was just one of those situations, we couldn't leave the truck down because it is the first responder truck.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make a motion that we
Okay.
advance him the 22,000 from the administrative fund, and we do have it in there. And then 2 payments paid back by Laranja to the administrative fund to cover the cost.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Ridgeland.
All right, Mr.
Wait,
Vial?
hold on.
I'm sorry.
Justin, how are you covering now? You okay? With the protection for fire?
Right now, we good.
Okay,
I'm making do what I got
okay, all right,
Make do.
without that truck.
gotcha. Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Mr. Ingraffia?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Ridgeville?
Yes.
Mr. Mayu?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes,
Thank y'all.
not a problem. Okay, other fire matters. Approval to hire Laura Gray for a 2023 audit.
I so move.
I'll second.
Mr. Richard made the motion, and
Mr. Forrest?
Mr. Forrest seconded that motion. Roll call, please.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Mr. Ingraffia?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Ridgeville? Mr. Mayu?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes. Congratulations, Laura. All right, number 7. Approval of honor guard program for Tangipahoa Parish Fire Department. I think that's gonna be you, TJ. You wanna come up to the podium?
TJ.
Make sure the mic is on.
I'm not turning on.
It's on.
It's on.
All right, so with the recent passing of Administrator Crocker, Ms. Rhonda had me facilitate the funeral, and without the people that helped me, and Mr. Lewis sat in that room, and I had about 20 people in there, and without those 20, excuse me, those 20 people, it probably wouldn't have went as smooth as it was. The guy that came, Mr. Mike Morgan, he said there's gonna be 3 hiccups, but nobody will see them. I had 3 hiccups. So he was right. So I spoke with Mr. Lewis about this a couple weeks ago. I'd like to put a plan in place for if something happens to one of our members. So we can have that plan, so we know what to follow, so we can maybe have 2 hiccups instead of 3. So that's what I'm asking permission from you guys, is to work with the fire chiefs of the parish and come up with a program along beside you guys, and see what we can come up with. So if this does happen again, Tangipahoa Parish is prepared. Being proactive versus reactive is always key.
TJ, let me say, I can't see anybody going against that, but I want to tell you, you did an outstanding job as well, son. And your papa would have been proud of you doing it. Yeah, your papa and I went to many meetings together, man. That's all he talked about. But you did a tremendous job yourself,
Thank you.
along with Mr. Mike.
I appreciate that.
And I wrote a letter to Mr. Morgan that I'm going to send to his superior.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do the same thing for you as well, because I think you deserve some type of recognition as well. You
I
did a
appreciate
beautiful,
that.
very, very proud of
And
you.
speaking of that, Mr. Morgan, whenever this is ready to go, he's gonna actually come and help us facilitate all this and make sure that our plan goes like it is. And if they need us, we can repay the favor.
That's exactly right. And I want to let all the fire departments know as well. Everybody chipped in, and whatever they were asked to do, they did it.
Yep.
It was a beautiful homegoing for him.
Yes,
And of course, the Crocker family is very proud of what y'all did as well.
yes, sir.
Okay, how do y'all feel about him setting that up?
I think it's a good idea.
Mr. Wells made the motion. Did I hear a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Vial? Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Mr. Ingraffia?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Ridgeville?
Yes.
Mr. Mayu?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes, just let us know whatever you need.
Yes, sir.
He's
I got
on
the next thing too.
Again?
Yes.
I wonder why you were still standing there. So you didn't get enough of it, huh?
No.
Okay, approval to research, oh, yeah, I brought that up as well. A cancer testing program for each Tangipahoa Fire District firefighter with Mary Bird Perkins. I mentioned this to him as well, and what happened, I went back to my old military days. When you're in a toxic area, I mean, you don't think about breathing and inhaling. You're trying to take care of business. And these guys, these firefighters are the same way. When they go into a burning building, they don't think about, could this material possibly give me cancer 10 years down the road? You're trying to save somebody's life. And that's your focus. But he and I spoke about it. I said we need to develop some kind of program so we start thinking about it. So go ahead.
So I did a little research, and just on, I'm sure everybody's seen the commercial. If you've been around foam, firefighting foam, call this number. If you've been diagnosed with cancer, and so forth and so on. Just with that, there's 9 different types of cancers that foam can cause someone. And including that, I lost my grandfather to lung cancer. He was a fireman for over 40 years. Chief Crocker was a fireman for 40 years. My uncle had a scare last year or year before. I can name many people right here in Tangipahoa Parish that this is affected directly in the fire service. And when I started the fire service, I was told by Chief Crocker, always make it better than the people left it for you. So this is something that I could do to leave it better for somebody. So I reached out to Mary Bird Perkins. They do have some free cancer screenings for certain things, but some things may have a cost, but we're trying to work that out. I also found another corporation that's based out of California. It was started by a firefighter that was diagnosed with cancer, and he beat it and he wanted to help out. So this foundation is all over the United States, and we do have a representative right here in Louisiana. So I'd like to reach out to those guys along with Mary Bird Perkins and sit down and come up with a plan that may be very low cost affected to some of our firemen, because some of them may not have health insurance. So I want to make sure that that cost is low for them, or even if a department has to pick it up, I want to make sure that cost is low. Because I've been a fireman in Tangipahoa Parish for the last 15 years in January, and I've been raised in a fire station the rest of the time. I just wasn't old enough to be a fireman yet. So I just want to make sure that we do set a plan in place from this day forward. Everybody gets checked, our new hires, the people that's here. And there's other health concerns that they've passed laws for to help with the testing too, hearing, all kind of stuff. So I'd like to maybe work and find out everything and maybe just do a health screening period. And to make sure that all our guys are taken care of. Your employees of this fire district is the ones that's making everybody look good. The fire chief looks the best because everybody behind him, he's the one that's leading them. So I want to make sure that I can push that forward, that everybody still looks good at the end of the day.
I can't help but agree with you again. You make me think of September 11th.
That was a big, when I typed in cancer for firefighters, 9/11 was where it started.
Yeah, that's right.
They didn't only just lose 343 guys that day. Everybody that was in the area of destruction, they all got cancer of some type.
Yeah. Okay. Do we need a motion on that?
We're gonna do, what are we gonna get at some cost figures or something?
I think he's gonna do his research.
Yeah,
and bring us back.
I reached out to the lady at Mary Bird Perkins. She had some stuff going on today, so she couldn't get me the figures today as of sitting right now. And then the other guy reached out to him, haven't heard back from him. But I would like to get some numbers together for everything, even if it's just a generic figure for right now, and then if some other stuff can go through and be facilitated, maybe we could work through that as well.
I admire what you're doing.
Thank you.
Okay, we don't need a motion on that then. Okay. Okay. Any privileges, councilman privileges, before we adjourn? Everybody good? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Wells made the motion to adjourn.